I'm Jessica, coming to you live from Nautilus Mission Control at the Inner Space Center in Rhode Island. And we're very excited to be here today with student Argonaut Aaron and teacher Argo Jason. And they're currently in the control van on board the exploration vessel, the Nautilus, which is currently in transit between Crete, an island in Greece, and Palermo, Italy. And for the next 20 minutes or so, they'll be answering your questions live. So if you have any questions for them, feel free to type them in, along with your name and the state where you live, in the question box to the right. Our moderators here will choose the best questions, and I'll pass them along. Now keep in mind that they are about 5,000 miles away, so there's a slight delay between my question and their answer. All right, so let's get started. Welcome, Aaron and Jason. Thank you so much for being with us today. I wanted to start off by asking you, what's it like on the Nautilus? What have you been up to so far? You know what, it looks like our satellite feeds have gone down momentarily. Sometimes that happens when we're on transit. You know, the engine will vibrate or it overheats and that kind of thing happens. So let's take a moment and learn what we've done so far on this expedition of the Nautilus season and take a look at this video about what's happened so far on leg 3 in the Aegean Sea. Hi, I'm Jessica here at Nautilus Mission Control at the Inner Space Center in Rhode Island. We just finished a very exciting third leg of the expedition, and here are the highlights. We spent a total of 10 days in the Aegean Sea near Santorini, Greece. In this area, we explored 4 sites: the Colombo Crater, the Santorini Caldera, the Christiana Domes, and the Cretan Basin. And here's what we found at each site. We started at the underwater volcano Colombo. Within the Colombo crater, there are hundreds of hydrothermal vents, discharging hot gases and fluids at temperatures as high as 435 degrees Fahrenheit. These high temperatures tell us that the Colombo volcano is still active and that there is hot magma near the surface of the sea floor. At Colombo, we were able to collect both geologic and water samples at some of the vents, tested 3 new water collection techniques, and continued mapping the vents using both multi-beam sonar and stereo imaging. Next stop was the Santorini Caldera. This caldera is basically a volcano that blew its top. Our scientists hypothesized that there would be vents in this area, and after days of searching, we finally found one. It was 50 meters down, and we could barely see it, but there was a slight shimmer in the water, indicative of a vent. Along the way, we found some cool biology, including a cuttlefish. After exploring the caldera, we headed over to the Christiana Islands, just southwest of Santorini, to look at underwater mounds. This was the first time humans have ever explored this part of the sea floor, so it was very exciting to be there. We ran transects from mound to mound and found underwater cliffs 50 to 100 meters high, fish, beautiful coral, and old fishing lines. The final stop was the Cretan Basin in the Sea of Crete. In our exploratory dive, we found small mounds covered in sediment with no venting activity. And more exciting, we found some tripod fish that walk along the sea floor. As you can see, it was a very exciting leg in the Santorini region. Stay tuned at nautiluslive.org as we begin leg 4 of the expedition, looking at underwater volcanoes and seamounts off the coast of Palermo, Italy. So it looks like we are back with the satellite feeds are up and running. So we're back with Aaron and Jason. Hi guys, welcome. Sorry about that slight delay. And I have a first question from you, from one of our website viewers, and it's Lucas from Maine, and he wants to know, what is it like being on the Nautilus, and what do you do as an Argonaut?
You are, how big is the ship?
Just around 100 feet.
Yeah, so you're always with all these scientists, and they're so smart and so nice, and it's really good just to be around them, and it's really comfortable. And I mean, we even went swimming and stuff, but we're still learning a lot.
Yeah, we described this earlier as the Hollywood of science. This is just one of the greatest places that you can be to see exciting, cutting-edge science.
Well, it sounds like you guys have been having a great time. I've got another question from Caleb from Holland Meadows, who wants to know, did you see an ROV submarine, and what is the submarine called?
Well, I'll take this because Caleb is right now in my classroom at Holly Meadows. So hi to Caleb and all the kids back at Holly Meadows. I can't wait to get back and share these things with you, but I'll share with you right now. I have been up close and personal with the ROV. In fact, I'm sitting right here next to the control arm for the Hercules ROV. So when the pilots manipulate that arm, they actually have a small miniature arm right here that they can actually manipulate in actual space. And the Hercules ROV is huge. It's almost 10 feet tall. We were both really, really surprised about that.
Awesome, and I've got a question specifically for Aaron from Emily in Milwaukee. She says, hi Aaron, what have been your favorite parts so far of this voyage, and what is the most interesting specimen you have studied?
Hi Emily, first of all, thanks for coming in. Most interesting thing we did so far, for me, was probably looking at the ROV, because that thing is so intricate, and there's all these little like measurement tools that they have on there that you don't really realize. I mean, that thing is just packed, and like he said, it's huge. And one of the things on there, they even have a little tiki that they put on there for good luck, which is interesting. We haven't done a whole lot of biology, but this guy today when we were swimming, he caught dolls? Yeah, there were these little jelly-like creatures, and they were really cool.
And speaking of swimming, I've got a question from Cindy in Maine who wants to know, how was the swim call?
The swim call was really, really a ton of fun, and we were both just amazed at how blue the Mediterranean is.
And also, it was so clear. You can see 30 meters down, right?
Yeah.
It's so clear, and it looks really blue, but it's just awesome, and it's the perfect temperature where it's cool but not too cold or too hot.
Best swim I think I've ever had. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
I wish you could have been there. So I've got a question now from another Jessica. This one's from Glenville, West Virginia. Wants to know, how fast is the Nautilus currently moving?
Well, for most of our trip, the Nautilus has been moving between 11 and 12 knots. I don't know if we've slowed down at all for the broadcast, but we've been around there our whole trip.
We've also had a couple moments where we had to stop too, because we were going too fast. We were going to get there too early, so we got to stop, and that's when we swam and stuff.
And now I've got a question from Mrs. Bradford's class. We're from Turner, Maine, and we want to know how old you were when you learned about the Jason Project, and when did you know that you wanted to be a student Argonaut? Let's ask that one for Aaron.
I started doing the Jason Project in 4th grade. Hello to my class back at Holy Trinity if you're watching this. And then my teacher talked to me about being a Jason Argonaut probably in 4th or 5th grade, because I loved it, and I've kind of been counting down the years until I was old enough since then.
Now I've got a question directed to Jason from Sean and Claire. Mr. Pittman, what has been your favorite thing on board ship?
Wow, that is a tough question to answer, but I definitely want to say hi to Sean and Claire. I know they're coming to us from Amman, Jordan, and Claire is one of my best students. Claire and her brother Miles, one of the best students I've ever taught, and her mom, Sean, is just about one of the best teachers in the world. So thanks for coming on, guys. My favorite thing so far, the control van is one of my favorite things. I mean, this is a really, really exciting place to be able to see these high-definition monitors, to be able to see real discovery right as it happens in so much detail. And the entire crew has such a commitment to sharing oceanography with the world, making this available right as it happens. This is a really, really special place, and every inch of it has been incredible.
I'm glad you guys have been having such a good time. I've got a question now from Luke in Virginia. What is the deepest the ROV can dive?
I think that in our conversation with Dr. Katie Croft Bell today, I think she said it went about 400 meters. Does that sound about right?
And then I know the tether that connects Argus to Hercules is 45 meters, right?
Okay.
And then there's also a cable that's pretty long.
So Argus floats down below the ship and takes a lot of the rocking from the ship and helps to stabilize the Hercules down below. So it's sort of a dual tether system that allows it to get down that far. I hope I didn't make a mistake on the number, but so many things have happened today. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that there's a lot of facts on our website about how deep the ROVs can go and how much they weigh and things like that, so you can check that out at nautiluslive.org. We've got another really good question from Max in Holland Meadows. How is the food?
Well, hi to Max at Holland Meadows. The food here has been fantastic. We've had chefs from Greece, from Russia, and our good friend Jeff, of course, has kept us well fed this whole week. We're having a lot of fun at every mealtime.
And another question from Holy Trinity. This is Elena asking, what kind of marine animals have you seen?
We haven't been studying marine biology a lot, but we did get to see some dolphins, which was awesome. Just they would kind of be on the ship every now and then. And flying fish, that was really cool. I mean, those things go far. I didn't realize that. And also, like I was talking about earlier, the little jelly things were really cool.
As long as they don't sting you. So this is from Dallas, Texas. What made you want to become an Argonaut?
For me, it was, like I said, I did the program when I was younger, and I just saw all these kids who are out there in the real world doing science. And I learned to love science from the Jason Project, so I want to kind of, share that with other people.
And what wouldn't make you want to be an Argonaut? I mean, you see the things that kids get to do. Absolutely everybody should apply to this program.
Now, Kathy in Michigan wants to know, have you been seasick?
Hi, Aunt Kathy. I was a little seasick on the first day, especially, this was kind of weird, but climbing up and down from my top bunk, I don't know why that made me seasick. But other than that, I've actually been pretty good.
Yeah, and I know my students at Holland Meadows are really looking forward to hearing that I have been seasick, but sorry to disappoint you guys. I tried my best. I've been pretty stable this trip.
That's good to hear. I've got a question now from Jeff in Virginia who wants to know, how do you incorporate math in the science activities you've done on the ship?
Well, thanks Jeff in Virginia for your question. Math is a really, really essential part of what we do. It's been a piece of every single activity, from calculating depth based on our sonar when we're creating topographic maps, to calculating distance, to even figuring out what time of day it is, because none of us have changed our watches off of Eastern time.
Cool. So I've got a question from Gaston.
One of the big pieces also for us has been...
Go on.
Sorry guys, I did that wrong.
No worries, there's a delay, so if you wanted to continue, that's
well,
fine.
one of the big pieces of math for us, sure, has been in our navigation, and so we've spent a lot of time with Dr. Katie Croft Bell in calculating distances and depths, and we've had a number of experiences with learning about navigation that have really not only been a crucial part of oceanography, but a great place to integrate math.
Cool. Now we've got a question from Gaston Middle School in Dallas, Texas. Who influenced you to become an Argonaut?
I'll take this one. Probably my 4th and 5th grade science teacher, Mrs. Flute. She made science real for me, especially through the Jason Project, but I think everyone around me also was just so great in encouraging me to be a scientist, because a lot of people don't get that, but I was really lucky to have a family that really liked being outdoors and stuff, so it kind of encourages you to want to do that, learn more.
And I've got another question for you, Aaron, a follow-up question from Megan from Holy Trinity. Wants to know, what was the application process like to become an Argonaut?
For a student Argonaut, at least, I think the teachers one was a little harder, but we had to get recommendations from our teachers and write essays and make a video essay. And then there's a second stage if you make it to that, and you have to do a phone interview.
Awesome. Now I've got a question from Mrs. Haas, 2nd grade. Are you on the ship all of the time?
Hi, Mrs. Haas. So we are for the couple of days, but we actually got to spend a night in Greece, and we're going to be spending a night in Palermo, which I'm really looking forward to.
Very cool. Yeah, Palermo should be fun. Now I've got a question from Cindy in Maine, who wants to know what advice you might give a student watching this who's thinking of applying to become a Jason Student Argonaut, and what qualities do you think that Argos possess?
Well, I would definitely say get involved in math and science. Make sure that you're really studying and focusing on those things. The qualities that you need to have: a love of adventure, open mind, a spirit of adventure. What would you say?
Yeah, a lot of what you said with adventure, and also don't doubt yourself, because I didn't think I was going to make it to the interview stage, and now I'm here in the middle of the Mediterranean. So, you know, don't think, oh, I'm never going to make it, so don't apply.
Yeah.
That's great advice. So I've got another question from Bella in Virginia. Have you discovered any man-made objects underwater?
We actually we were just looking at some footage on the monitor behind us that seemed like a little bit of an anachronism in the shipwreck, but there was actually a white lawn chair that was on a shipwreck that we saw. But of course, everything in the shipwreck was man-made. So.
And Jimmy from Virginia wants to know, how big is the ship you are on?
The ship is about 100 feet long, but it has
4 levels, about?
What's that?
Like about 4 levels.
4 levels? 200 feet? My apologies. So it's about 200 feet long and 4 levels, and I think we counted 6 if we count all the way up. So it seems like we're on a floating hotel. It's like that size. It's enormous.
And now I've got a question from Tibby in Romania. Hi, I was wondering what you've done so far on the ship and what comes next. All the best from your fellow Argo, Tibby.
Yeah, well, let's take a minute to not only say hi to Tibby, our fellow Argonaut, but we want to say hi to all of our Argonaut friends. We especially want to say hi to Chimuntai. We miss you, and we're really thinking about you a lot, and you are going to have a great time once you get out here.
Okay, so far what we've done is we've done water testing, we've done navigation and charts and maps, and we've already had to do our exit interviews and debriefing and stuff, which was sad, and we got a tour of the ROV.
Yeah, we had a fire drill, so we got to see what emergency procedures are like on the ship. So we had the entire cast and crew all aboard and in our life vests, so that was a pretty neat experience too.
And sadly, we only have time for one more question. This is a question from Grayson from Holy Trinity. If you could pick your favorite thing on the Nautilus, what would it be?
Favorite thing on the Nautilus? I'm going to pick 2 very generic things. I'm going to say the people and Hercules, because the people are so great. I mean, that's what really can get you excited about science, and they're just so encouraging, and you learn so much from them, just even when you don't ask for it, or it's just like a little question you have. But then also Hercules, so cool. I mean, everyone says that. There's just so much in it. Awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with a better answer than that. I mean, those are 2 of the exciting things, and if we're gonna talk about the people on board and how special they are, we should definitely mention Dr. Katie Croft Bell and what a great host that she has been for us, the amount that she's taught us, what a great steward of the ocean she is, and how much she's inspired all of us to return to our classrooms and share this love of the ocean that we've got this week.
And we actually have 2 very quick last-minute questions that just came in, so we'll try to answer those before the time is up. Justin from Maine wants to know, how does having different people from around the world affect the trip?
That's a pretty good question, because it really does. I mean, there is a real sense of community here that's not just one nationality or one group of people, and I think the biggest effect that it has is it creates an atmosphere of sharing.
And so that's all the time that we have today, but thank you to everyone for sending in your questions. They've been great, and thank you so much, Aaron and Jason, for taking the time to talk to us today. If you want to watch more live exploration, you can head to nautiluslive.org. We have 24/7 live feeds of the ship and what's going on there. Also, if you have more questions that didn't get answered or you want to meet the other student and teacher Argonauts on board the ship, we've got another event today, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on jason.org/live, so you can tune in then. Again, I'm Jessica here at Nautilus Mission Control. Keep on exploring.